Welcome back to the Man United stream. Hope you're doing well. It's Thursday morning and it's the day after we lost 2-0 against Arsenal. We're going to be going through that game, discussing what went wrong with this United team. Where did we go wrong? We were 0-0 at half-time. How did we lose 2 goals in the second half? What happened? Which players were not good enough? And was Ruben Amorim right to play that team? That's the biggest question we've got today. We're going to be discussing that and lots more in today's show, so make sure you stick around. Make sure you hit the like button on this video. If you're not a subscriber to the Man United stream channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button right now so you can keep up to date with all the latest Manchester United news and more every single day from one single daily dose. Okay, so we said it earlier on this week. This Arsenal game was coming too early for Ruben Amorim. He still needed time to settle his team down, still needs time to sort this team out and the players and get the tactics just right. And this big clash against Arsenal just came, I think, maybe a month or two too early. If it was maybe 2 months down the line or a month down the line, I think United would be a different team and will be a different team a month down the line. And that's when I think Arsenal would have really been in trouble. Right now, even though Amorim just had literally 3 weeks of being with United, Arsenal looked worried in the first half. You could see that they were scared of United. They'd already seen this United team cook really early on in games, score early goals, and I think they were panicked about that. They were really worried about United getting that early goal. So you could see Arsenal sitting back in the first half, and United dominated possession in the first half. And when could we ever say that? In the last couple of years, United have never dominated possession. So coming into this game, I mean, just being comfortable on the ball was a breath of fresh air for most United fans watching this game. We were thinking that Arsenal's going to be all over United and United will be defending from the start of the kickoff, but it didn't happen. And in the first half, United did really well in terms of possession, but one problem that we all saw was that United were not getting any shots on target. In fact, they were not crossing the ball in. There was no one in the area. And you could see Højlund amongst all the defenders not doing anything. I mean, he was not even getting any service, and even if he did, the ball would have been taken off him before he could do anything with it. So first half, that was the disappointing thing. I mean, you could see the ball going all the way to Garnacho, down the wing, or Mason Mount or anybody else, and then it would just come all the way back again. It just come all the way back again, and that happened time and time again. And Arsenal, well, even though we contained them and they didn't really get any chances either, we were not doing much with the ball either. So the ball just stayed in the middle of the park and it just back and forth. It was just not a really interesting game to watch. It was quite boring first half. Second half, of course, we got the onslaught. Of course, Arteta went in there, must have grilled his players, told them, get the hell in the faces of these United players. You're giving them too much time, too much respect, and you're at home. You need to be taking the game to them. Do not let them control possession. And we saw that in the second half. Arsenal came out firing, and they just literally did not give any time to the Man United players on the ball, and they got in their faces. But the biggest upset was, of course, with those crosses, with those corners that came in time and time again. And every time a corner came in, United looked like they were going to concede. It was just ridiculous. Number one question is, why was Onana not coming out for those crosses? He knew exactly where they were going to end up. He knew that they were going to cross them in at a certain point and there's going to land on a certain head. So come out and flipping collect the ball. I don't understand that. And even if he wasn't doing that, why were the players not man marking? Look, okay, maybe I'm the one who's completely looking at it differently. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this whole corner situation from Arsenal. You saw them lining up. They lined up right further back, beyond the goal, and then they'd run in at the last minute. Why were United players not more in control of the situation? Why were they still standing there like statues? Mark the players, don't let them run back into the area. Make a wall of players right in front of them, or surround them, and don't let them run into the area. That just ridiculous. But look, United played a decent game in my opinion. I don't think they were terrible. I really don't. And that might shock some of you out there. You might be thinking, what's he on about? We lost 2-0. How can we not be terrible? We were not terrible. We were not terrible, and I'm going to put my hands up and say that. Even though when I looked at the team sheet, I was confused as hell, thinking, where is Amad Diallo? Where is Rashford? Even though Rashford is not a top player in my opinion, You might disagree, you might agree, but I think against Arsenal, he always has a decent game. So I was shocked not to see Rashford on that pitch. I mean, Mason Mount, I wasn't quite sure. I mean, he had a decent first half, actually. So again, I have to say, it was nice seeing him play some minutes on the pitch. And then Malacia, I mean, he had a terrible game against Ipswich. So how he was brought into this big game, I wasn't quite sure. I was actually really worried for him, but he actually, again, did a decent job. I mean, there's some people out there who've criticised Amorim for picking the team, but I genuinely think that it was a decent starting lineup. I think they did really well, and I think he got it right. Even though some people might say, no, he didn't get it right. What the hell are you talking about, mate? He did not get it right. Amorim should have played Rashford from the start and should have played Amad Diallo. Now, again, Amad Diallo, yes, he came on, caused a lot of issues for Zinchenko, but look, we had to change things up. We have to. And playing Højlund, I can see why. Because against the likes of Saliba and Gabriel, Rashford wouldn't have stood a chance. I mean, look, we all know Rashford is not physically big enough to play up against these massive defenders. And that was always going to be an issue. Højlund could still handle himself, still look after himself against those defenders. That's why I think Amorim chose Højlund instead of Rashford. And look, we've got issues. We've got issues, and we've been saying it for years, not months, not just now. We've been saying it for a long, long time. 2 summers have gone by, and we've said the same thing again and again. We need a world-class striker. We need a big, solid striker, and we haven't got one. We might have thought we had one in Zertsky, but he's not the finished article, and he's not good enough. He's simply not good enough, and I'm going to keep on saying this. When I'm watching Zertsky, I don't think he's got the skill. I don't think he's got the composure. I just simply think he's not an out-and-out striker. I might be completely wrong. He might turn completely on a sixpence, and he might be one of our best strikers going forward. But right now, he's not that guy. And you might disagree. Let me know in the comments below what you think about Zertsky. You might think he's a top striker and he's going to become one of our best players. Or you might agree with me that he is not the finished article. We need a top world-class striker. I mean, we need to go out there and put all our money into one of the best strikers in the world. That's what we need. We need to go out there, whether it's Osimhen, whether it's someone else, I'm not quite sure. But what I do know is that we are missing that final piece in that jigsaw, because last night was obvious. It was obvious we had no goal threat. We were toothless going forward. We had no threat. I mean, Arsenal defensively, they must have gone to sleep. They must have gone to sleep because they were like, well, there's no one to defend against. And apart from Amad Diallo, who came on and caused a few issues for Zinchenko, I mean, other than that, there was nothing. We had nothing. And then, what was that? A header from De Ligt. I mean, that was a decent header. That was the only chance I can really think of and think, right, okay, United had a decent chance. But other than that, nothing. And that's where the problem lies. And we heard from Ruben Amorim the post-match press conference, and he said the same thing. Look, we need more goals from the strikers. Of course, he's not going to say we need a new striker. He's not going to come out and say that, because that will be shooting himself in the foot. And obviously, the players that he's got will turn against him. So right now, he's obviously backing his strikers and saying, look, I need these strikers to come out and perform better. But we know what these strikers are all about. We've seen them for years. They will not come out and get us 20 goals plus in one season. And that has been the biggest problem. If you look at all the great teams and all the great Man United teams, we always had 20 plus goals a season star strikers. And that was a problem. Maybe 2 or 3 at one time we had. This is the biggest problem. Why are we saying to Amorim, right, go out there, build us a house, but you can't use any tools? That's what it's like. We're asking him to go and sort this mess out, but he hasn't got the players to do it. The players that we've got at this club are not good enough. And I keep saying this, and will keep saying this until things change. We've got a few good players. Let's be honest. We've got Mazraoui, who's absolutely phenomenal. And we've said this from the day we signed him. And then we've got the likes of Lenny Euro coming through, and other players in that team like Ugarte, who look very, very good. And of course, Amad Diallo. We've got a few others like Dallo, I feel, is very, very good as well. So we've got some very good players in that team, but we are missing that focal point, that superstar striker who can come in and make a difference. Every top team has a superstar striker who comes clutch when you're most needed, and that's what happens. I mean, that's why people are mentioning the likes of Victor Gyökeres to come to United, because he could be that missing piece. I'm not quite sure who they're going to go for, but what I am hoping for is that they do this in January before it gets even more difficult. I hate seeing Ruben upset. I mean, this guy talks the talk, and he is the best manager we're going to have on our hands for a long, long time, and I really want him to succeed, and I know many other fans do as well. So let's hope they can get this sorted out as quick as possible. On we go. There were some positives we can take from this game, and hopefully we can go and get some more wins under our belt. Make sure you hit the like button on this video. Make sure you subscribe. You were watching the Man United Stream channel by the fans for the fans.